Picture this. It's the year 1453, folks. A Venetian merchant, guy named Giacomo de Bedoa, is scratching away in his private diary, his hand shaking like he's seen the devil himself. What haunts him? Young boys, no older than your average elementary school kid, getting methodically butchered right there in the glittering halls of the Ottoman palace. And get this, not as some twisted payback or chain gang punishment. Oh no, this was the kickoff to a lifetime of pure, unrelenting torment. These weren't street rats or battlefield prizes. They were wide-eyed innocents, yanked screaming from the arms of their Christian families, reshaped into what the Ottomans smugly dubbed their perfect servants. Can you even wrap your head around it? What these boys endured? It's hands down one of history's most gut-wrenching tales of organized child abuse, a system so cold and calculated it makes your skin crawl. And here's the kicker: Bedoa's raw, unfiltered entries. They're our closest Western window into that palace of horrors. But don't think he's the lone voice crying out. We've got stacks of diplomatic dispatches, yellowed medical scrolls, even hushed survivor confessions pieced together from the shadows. They all converge on one brutal truth. This wasn't a one-off atrocity. It was centuries, yes, centuries, of engineered cruelty, baked right into the empire's bones. Ever catch yourself wondering how empires like the Ottomans held their grip so tight, generation after generation? Was it just gold and guns? Nah, it ran deeper, darker. They cherry-picked these kids with surgical precision. Ottoman recruiters didn't roll the dice. They prowled Christian strongholds across the sprawling empire. Balkans hotspots like modern-day Serbia or Bulgaria, the rugged hills of Anatolia, even pockets in Greece and beyond. Target age? 8 to 12, prime years when a boy's still soft clay, easy to mold. What made the cut? Not just any kid. They scouted for spark, quick wits that could crunch numbers or charm a room, faces that turned heads with that innocent beauty, and crucially, zero family firepower. No uncles in the nobility, no dads with swords or sway who might rally a revenge posse. Imagine the scouts slinking through misty mountain villages at dawn, eyes like hawks, pointing fingers. Him, that one's got the look. Heartbreaking, right? One nod and boom, family shattered, the boys dragged away in the dead of night, chains clinking like a death knell. Mums clawing at the dirt, dads on their knees begging. But resistance, futile. This fed into the infamous Dev-Shermi system, the Ottomans' industrial-scale child-reaping operation. Every 3 to 5 years, like clockwork, the sweeps hit. No polite knocks. This was empire-sanctioned kidnapping, cranked up to nightmare levels. Hide your son. Officials had no qualms. Execution squads waited in the wings. Desperate parents. Some crossed lines we'd never dream of. Chopping off fingers with a rusty blade, slashing cheeks to scar that pretty face, anything to render their boy unfit. God, the stories. One village elder's account, buried in a dusty archive, describes a father weeping over his mangled son, whispering, "Better crippled than theirs." Did it work? Barely a whisper. Recruiters shrugged it off. Scars built character, they said. The selected ones. Herded like livestock, 100, 200 at a time, iron chains biting wrists raw. The march to Constantinople. A gauntlet from hell, blazing suns, freezing rains, cholera ripping through ranks. Kids collapsing in the mud, too weak to stand. Others, well, whispers in the records hint at ropes tied to trees, silent ends under starry skies. Ottoman ledgers, cold as stone, tallied the toll. 20 to 30% lost en route. That's thousands over the years, just fodder for the road. Brutal efficiency, huh? But for the ones who staggered through those massive city gates, sweat-soaked and hollow-eyed, sweet relief. Think again. Their true abyss was yawning wide. Those so-called preparation houses. Don't let the name fool you. They weren't cozy academies or trade schools. These were grim assembly lines for forging shattered souls, hidden in fortress-like compounds on the empire's edges. And the castration. Folks, that was merely the brutal curtain raiser in a multi-act tragedy aimed at welding unbreakable obedience. Dive into the purification chambers, euphemism alert. These were subterranean slaughter pens, dank basements reeking of rust and despair, far from any healer's touch. The timing, master stroke of psychological warfare. Boys got locked in solitary for days on end, stone walls muffling nothing, screams from the chamber next door pierced like knives. Ottoman training tomes, unearthed in Istanbul libraries, lay it bare. That festering anticipation. It was the secret sauce, designed to pulverize resistance before a single blade touched skin. Your number's up. 4 burly handlers haul you in, the air thick with coppery blood and the sour tang of unchecked infections. Strapped to a splintered table, no mercy in sight. The surgeon, more butcher than doc, wields a red-hot razor or jagged knife, flames licking the edge for that extra sear. Anesthesia. A fairy tale. Just a gnawed leather strap crammed in your mouth to keep you from shredding your tongue in the throes. But oh, the depths of the depravity. They didn't settle for partial jobs. For the cream of the crop, bound for palace peaks, it was total emasculation. Everything gone, ensuring zero threat to the Sultan's inner sanctum, those guarded harems of silk and secrets. The method, as primitive as it was sadistic. Slice, then press glowing irons to the ruin, flesh hissing and popping like meat on a spit. The stench, charred skin mingling with voided bowels, clung to everything, a perpetual fog in those hellholes. One diplomat's smuggled report from 1482 paints it vivid. The cries echo till dawn, a chorus no man forgets. Medical jottings from the era. They don't sugarcoat the fallout, it's a catalogue of calculated carnage. Post-cut, survivors got shoveled waist-deep into scalding sandpits or coarse salt beds, the grit sucking at wounds like a cruel poultice, staunching the gush but amplifying the burn. Water, forbidden for 3 endless days, lips cracking, throats raw as fire. Why? Ottoman healers, sharp minds really, knew the dehydration gambit jacked up the body count, weeding out the frail. It wasn't bungled care, it was a forge for the unbreakable, survivors etched with proof of divine favor, or so the clerics spun it. Picture it, these kids 9 or 10 years old, stewing in their own filth, fever dreams blurring mom's face with phantom pains. Delirium sets in, hallucinations of home, only to snap back to the maggot-ridden straw. Pleas for the end. Kill me, please, merciful God. Guards, stone-faced per protocol, turned deaf ears. No suicides allowed, no easy outs. Those who clawed through. Weeks of limbo, wounds suppurating in deliberate squalor. Sanitation, a myth. Flies swarmed, pus wept yellow rivers. Records boast of the cull, only 1 in 10 made it past month 1, felled by exsanguination, sepsis storms, renal collapse, or plain shock. The dead? Bundled into lime-dusted carts, dumped in anonymous pits beyond the Theodosian walls, ghosts without markers. Lucky? Ha! The winners were just teed up for deeper dives into the void. That physical scar, it was the chisel, the mind was the marble they smashed to dust. Ottoman doctrine hammered it home, peak pain fused with utter powerlessness birthed absolute fealty, a servant who'd sooner die than defy. As stumps healed into puckered reminders, the boys confronted the theft. Voices locked in treble forever, frames stunted in eternal boyhood, bodies a mocking halfway house twixt man and child. Precisely the eunuch ideal, neutered threats in a world of scheming males. But the flesh wound was child's play, next to reshaping. The soul surgery phase, a regimented erasure that'd make modern cults blush. This kicked off the instant scars crusted over, no breather. First strike, identity nuked. New monikers slapped on, flowery Turkish handles like Mehmet, or Arabic echoes like Yusuf, severed from any Balkan root. Forgetting? Slipping into a forbidden Petar or Dimitri. That earned the lash, or worse, the silence hood. Days in suffocating dark. Native tongues. Capital crime. Speak a syllable of Serbian lilt or Greek cadence. Starvation loomed. Infiltrators lurked among the ranks, ears pricked for telltale slips in hushed night talks. One caught Bulgarian murmur in a 1520s log. The boy went 3 days on crusts and water, belly clawing itself. The emotional haymaker, fabricated family fallout. Handlers dripped poison, your father bartered you for a mule, or mother cursed your name before the fever took her, or plague razed your hamlet. You're all that's left, a curse. Lies mostly, but isolation sealed the deal. No letters, no runners, just echoing doubt. Abandonment burrowed deep, a worm turning love to loathing, priming them for the handler's rescue. Ever felt that stab of betrayal from a loved one, multiply by empire, devastating? The body-breaking regimen, a sadist's syllabus, clocked to the second. Dawn cracks, up you go, into hours, nay, full days, of rigid poses, arms outstretched like crucified statues, spines arrow straight till muscles screamed mutiny. Collapse, back up, or face the rod. Goal, not rippling abs, but spectral stillness, the art of fading into wallpaper, unseen till summoned. They drilled anticipation. Decode a master's furrowed brow, a size hitch, the tap of a ring on wood. Miss the cue? Thuds of fists, or the black maw of sub-dungeon cells, pitch void for 48 hours, madness whispering. Spark of wonder, a question about stars or seasons. Snuffed via correction, paraded naked before peers, pelted with jeers, intellect branded folly. Daily rhythm, helplessness, indoctrination 1001. Pre-dawn reveille, contorted holds till noon, rations scant as a beggar's, stale bread, brackish soup, hunger a constant companion. Echoes of you are nothing, owned, erased, drilled into skulls. Every whim, when to piss, how to breathe, dictated by overseers' whims. Autonomy, a sin, yet the venom's core, that insidious dependency weave. Skimp the slop just enough to keep the ribs showing, then dangle a boon. Extra fig, a blanket scrap, a gruff well-done pup. Boom, Stockholm's grip tightens, abusers morphing to saviors in fractured minds. These lads inverted, fingering mates for a nod, jockeying for scraps of praise, volunteering as underling tormentors. Ottoman psychops manuals charted the arc with eerie accuracy. Sobs taper by half-year mark, family phantoms dissolve by annum's end, fawning fealty blooms by 18 months. By training's close, 3 to 5 years in, they weren't boys, weren't wrecks, just mechanisms, obedience automata, adrift sans the master's leash, survival hinged on surrender, resistance, self-erasure. Triage time, the unbroken, or rather the best bent, got slotted by tier. Fairest faces, doomed to intimacy's perils, shadowing viziers or sultans' kin as cupbearers, whisperers, ever at arm's reach. Beauty's curse amplified, court whispers, pieced from Venetian spies, tally the traded trysts, boys bartered like rare silks, bodies a currency of favor. One 16th century ledger lists a gift of 3 pretties to a pasha, their services implied in faded ink. Brains trust, funneled to scriptoriums, quill-pushing drones in airless vaults, tallying taxes or scripting edicts. Cruel jest, intellects that could have sparked revolutions or penned epics. Harnessed to oil the machine, forever footnotes. Brawniest holdouts, palace sentinels, swords at hip, lording over lesser shades. Authorities poisoned chalice, they meted the marches, the floggings, staring down mirrors of their stolen youths. Power, it corroded, turning victims to vectors. Universal yoke, panopticon paranoia, bunked in open barracks, eyes everywhere, no solo slumbers, lest reveries of rebellion stir. Solitude, sabotage seed, itineraries engineered for alienation, mealtimes solitary, labors in enforced hush, camaraderie. Heresy, a chink in Sultan allegiance armor. Closeness bred conspiracy, so bonds got branded threats. The slow poison of years, a quiet horror. Puberty's ghost left them piping falsettos, frames frail as reeds, bones brittle, joints screaming by 30. Chronic woes, urinary plagues, phantom itches, piled on, a body's revenge deferred. Rawest echoes, Their scribbles, rare as hen's teeth, surfaced in 87 digs from Topkapi vaults. One eunuch's fevered quill. Nights replay the hearth glow, father's calloused hand, paths untrod to manhood's gate. Dawn drags guilt, treason to dream. Dissociative fogs descended. I drift above this husk, commands puppet my limbs, emotions ash. No fluke, engineered eclipse. Loneliness, the empire's sharpest blade, throngs of silk-clad souls, yet connections. Forbidden fruit, decades in relational vacuum, echoes amplifying inner voids. Twilight years, many pivoted to novice crushers, enforcers eclipsing their scars' severity. Abuses hydra, heads regrowing harsher. This Leviathan devoured over 400 years, from 1360's stirrings to 1908's death rattle, claiming 200,000 souls in its maw. Balkan demographics cratered, cultures hollowed. Abolition, pity's ploy, hardly. Young Turk tremors met European gunboats and trade throttles. The sick man of Europe gasped its last. Final cohort, shriveled shades haunting Istanbul alleys into the 1960s. Traumas etched unspoken till graves claimed them. Myths painted quaint. A necessary evil? Bunk. Records? Laundered white. 2021 seismic shifts, ground-penetrating radar humming under old prep house ruins. Unveiled charnel pits uncharted. Skeletons whisper extras. Serrated bone hacks, unscripted vivisections, pint-sized lab fodder. Soil assays, anomalies galore. Opiate traces, hallucinogenic blooms alien to era's pharmacopoeia, hinting proto-mind meld cocktails. If they shrouded surgical sadism and dope-dosed derangements, what abyssal add-ons molded away? Human ingenuity's nadir on the young. What fresh infernos lurk in unturned earth? Ponder that next quiet night. What say you? Ready to dig deeper, or does this suffice to chill the marrow?